and gentlemen, do you know what is the story behind that song? Yup, it's Rapunzel. In this nice occasion, I would like to tell you a story entitled Rapunzel. Once, there lived a man and his wife who longed for a child. Then miraculously, the wife announced the joyful news. They were expecting a baby. They lived in a house next to a garden full of fresh vegetables and flowers that belonged to a mighty witch who everyone was terrified of. One day, the woman said to her husband, I feel like I will die unless I can eat some of those radishes that grow in the witch garden. The man, who really loved his wife, thought that he would rather get caught by the witch than losing his blood. As he was climbing, he saw the witch standing in front of him. How dare you climb over into my garden and steal my radishes?
But please, don't judge me too hard. I did it for my wife.
Well, on one condition. You must give your child to me. I will raise it like my own. The man was so scared that he promised the witch whatever she asked for. When the time came, the witch appeared and the child was born. She gave the child name Rapunzel, which means radish. They lived in a high tower in the woods. Rapunzel grew more and more beautiful. When the witch wished to be let in, she would cry and say, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. They lived that way for years. It was Rapunzel who felt lonely and would often spend her time to singing. All those days, watching from the windows, all those years outside looking in, all the times never even knowing just how blind I've seen. And then the prince came into the tower and heard her singing. As he was standing there gazing at the tower, he saw the witch came up. And what happened after that was really surprised him. But he could finally see the girl who the beautiful voice belonged to. The next day, at dusk, the prince went to the tower and he cried, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And then Rapunzel let her hair down and the prince climbed up. When she saw the prince at the first time, she was so scared. But the prince was so young and handsome, and that she liked him very much. And then they started to fall in love. So the witch knew nothing of all this until one day Rapunzel said to her, Marigado, how is it possible that you climb up here so slowly, but the prince climbs up in a moment? What is here? You have betrayed me! In her anger, the witch cut Rapunzel's hair. In the same evening, the prince went to the tower and he climbs up. Instead of seeing his dearest Rapunzel, he saw the witch standing in front of him. You will never see Rapunzel again! Oh! The witch pushed the prince from the tower. He fell onto the sharp thorns, losing his sight. Blinded, the prince roamed to the forest until one day he heard her voice. Yep, it's Rapunzel's voice. And then the prince following the voice. And then he met Rapunzel again. As they hugged, a tear from Rapunzel fell into his face. And boom! His sight returned. What happened to your hair, Rapunzel? The prince touched Rapunzel the magical hair grew back longer, shinier than ever. And then they returned to the prince's kingdom, where they lived happily ever after. Ladies and gentlemen, from the story, it teaches us the importance to make your own choice in your life and not afraid to the big dream in your life. That's all for me. See you on the next stage. Goodbye!